Welcome, everyone, to Winning in the Shadows. Andy and Jim here to break down UFC 317, Oliveira and Topuria. Hit the like button. Leave a comment below. We have no time to waste. We're going to share with you what plays that we have up for clients, including a 5% PFL. But, Jim, let's just get right into it. No time to waste here. We're going to start with the main event. Topuria and Charles Oliveira. Topuria, pretty sizable favorite here. The things on social media today are, there was a picture floating around of Topuria standing next to Kai France, and he didn't look huge compared to Kai France. They go, oh, is Charles Oliveira going to be way bigger, way bigger? I think that's nonsensical. What do you think about this fight?
This falls right into my category, which I said at the beginning of the year, is that this is a year of change. It is a year of change. Charles Oliveira, 45 career professional fights.
It's amazing.
That is a ton of mileage for his age. And if you're a fan of Charles Oliveira, you know that most of his fights are hell on wheels. So this isn't like this isn't George St. Pierre here, risk adverse. Like every fight he's dropped, every fight he drops the other guy. One fight he's getting some, and that he chokes out the neck. Look at the brutality that this man has been through. I have to not go with Charles here. I haven't seen an improvement in Charles in a while. I think he kind of is what he is at this point. The size, not concerned, especially at this division. Like these guys, really, there's nobody who's an Adonis in this matchup where you're going to be like, oh, God, Charles is going to overpower Topuria. I actually kind of like that he's built like a fire hydrant because if he gets inside on Charles, I think that's bad news for Charles. Charles is going to have to land at range in the stand-up in this. And, again, what's Charles' strategy? He's not really a takedown threat. It's more like take me down and I submit you. I think Topuria has the ability to dictate where this fight plays out way more than Charles does. Topuria has the cardio. He's got the youth. He's got less mileage. I think it's him, man. I think it's just him. He's going to take out Charles, and then we're going to be looking at building super fights for this guy. That's the state of the division where we're at.
I'm with you. I think Topuria is the future, and the future is now. I'm amazed at how much better this guy has gotten. Jai Herbert. Remember, this is the guy that fought Ryan Hall. Mm-hmm. This was the guy that was in a fight with Ryan Hall, and since then has just been decimating guys.
Well, don't forget, remember Ryan Hall was rattling off all those finishes?
Yes.
Like, it was like, oh, Ryan Hall, what's Topuria going to do? Oh, I don't know. Don't get heel hooked, then punch him in the face. It wasn't a complicated game plan. I just forget.
No, but it is funny, fights Ryan Hall, and then 4 fights later, he's fighting Volk and Holloway, but that's kind of what happens in UFC. Look at Gene Silva. All of a sudden, he's fighting Diego Lopez. So I think the boxing is just far more superior. And you're right. Charles Oliveira, this isn't a guy that's just going to shoot hard double leg takedowns like Kyle Barallo or, this is a guy that kind of needs it to end up on the ground in like scrambles. And be honest, I haven't seen that elite Oliveira. Like, should have finished Chandler, didn't finish. And by the way, a washed up Chandler.
Big red flag.
And Chandler had his moments, loses to Sarukian in a split. It was an entertaining fight, but it was grappling and rolling around on the ground. That's not what this fight is going to be. Before that, smokes Dariush, who we'll talk about him a little bit later, and then, getting submitted by Makhachev. But where's been the amazing performance in his last 4 fights? And when it goes really quick. I know it's chalky. I know this isn't a hot take or anything. I think it's Topuria, and I think it's by KO. Oliveira gets dropped in every single fight, and Topuria is not the guy that's going to let him off the hook. So I think Topuria drops him, doesn't do anything stupid like jump into guard or anything. Maybe he does and gets a ground and pound, but I think Topuria is smart enough to know his advantage on the feet is going to be way too much for Charles to overcome. So let's move on to Pantoja versus Kai France. I'll let you go first. What's your take on this fight?
Pantoja is the undoubted best in the division. Cream of the crop. Kai France's ranking at number 4, I don't buy it. He's number 4 because lack of options. That's what he is. If this is a legitimately deep division, he's number 7, number 8.
Then why is he 1-2 in his in his last 3 fights?
There you go. Exactly. So this ranking of number 4 and building this fight, what it comes down to is, and we've said it before and I will continue to say it, is this division is so poor as far as people being able to challenge the champions. It's been that way forever. This division has just been that way. I think it's half the reason why Dana wasn't a fan of it years back. He's like, we need some excitement. It almost went away. They almost did away with it. I just don't buy into Kai France being able to take the best of the best out in this division. Pantoja is so well-rounded. He can do it all. His striking is sloppy. It's not great, but it works for him. It just works. And the guy is able to find another gear. He is one of those where you could see him on the feet. He looks like he's exhausted. And the second it hits the mat, you're like, oh, he's fine. He can do this for another 3 hours. He'll be fine. So if he can wrestle Kai France at all, he's going to have the cardio. All right? He's going to be able to be competitive in the striking. And what's the striking of France going to look like after 2 rounds of grappling? I think it's going away. I don't think he's going to have the cardio. That's a different kind of cardio. No disrespect to Kai France. He has power for this division. But this is a different challenge. This is just a different challenge in the spot. The UFC is trying to find people to put in front of Pantoja, and they're just running out of options at this point. I mean, who is left? You're going to have to get some new blood. I think this is going to be the last of the veteran around that's going to get the shot. Maybe we see Tatsuro Taira come in and get the shot. We'll see. But
gotta. I almost feel like this division is just kind of waiting on Pantoja to get older. It's just like the waiting
need him
game.
Gone. It's a weird situation that they need him to lose to have any kind of build for this fight. So I think Pantoja does it one more time.
Listen, I'm not buying this power of Kai France. Okay, congratulations, you knocked out Steve Erceg. Didn't knock out Albazi. Didn't knock out Brandon Moreno. Didn't knock out Askarov. Knocked out Cody Garbrandt and Rogério Bondarin, and now we got to go back to 2021 to find this alleged amazing power. Can he strike? Yeah. Has Pantoja seen it all and seen better than Kai France? Yes, he has. That's the other thing is you don't think Pantoja is going to be slightly ready and know what the path to victory is. He's going to backpack him. I don't even think he needs these aggressive takedowns. I think how many times we've seen him like get guys up against the fence and all of a sudden he's on their back.
Yeah, he's real good at that. You're right.
This win against Alex Perez, he about ripped Alex Perez's head off on his back on the feet, and you're right. That's what Pantoja does, and you're like, is he getting older? Is his car? Nope, he won again. Is he tiring in the third? Nope, he just won rounds 4 and 5. Like he keeps on going. I loved his aggression against Kai Asakura. It was like he was insulted that they brought him in, and he just like mop the floor with him. And yeah, I'm with you. Like, just because Kai France is in a championship fight doesn't mean he's championship material. I just don't think he is. There is a guy who is 1-2 who's fighting in the co-main for the flyweight championship. If I just say that out loud,
that's all you need.
That's all I need to know about this one. It's Pantoja. I don't mind a Pantoja by sub prop, but again, I know it's chalky, but I am so confident in Pantoja and Topuria to get it done. I think both of them win, and I don't think it's going to be that difficult. I think at the end we're going, well, that really wasn't fun to watch. Pantoja dominates France, and Topuria knocks out Oliveira. One of those things where we paid our hard-earned money for that. So, all right, let's move on to one where the lines are much more competitive. Brandon Royval and Josh Van. We love both these guys. Mm-hmm. Straight pick 'em, homie. What do you think?
This is too much too soon. This goes back to that 5 space between the rankings. So you have number 3 against number 8. Usually when there's 5 spots in between, we're looking at a big experience and a big talent gap. Now, with Josh Van, I don't believe there's a big talent gap, but there is a massive experience gap between him and Brandon Royval. For all of Brandon Royval's faults, there's one thing that he does absolutely fantastic. That is make fights ugly. They are explosive, it's dynamic, but it's ugly. And what does Josh Van need to be really on his game? He needs to be in control. It's like that person that's a control freak. They just have to have all their ducks in a row. They get, so you change the settings on their seat if you drive their car, they lose their mind. It's just little things. And Brandon Royval is not going to let Josh dictate where this fight is taking place or how it's taking place. The second that bell rings, you're going to look at it and go, okay, this is a Brandon Royval fight. And I don't know if Josh is going to have enough for it. It's also short notice for Josh. We saw this with Charles Johnson. Way too much effort to get the fights in instead of making improvements each time. I think you have to answer yes if the UFC calls for this opportunity, because you could find yourself in a title shot. So he's doing the right thing, but I think this is too much too soon. I love Brandon Royval, actually, in this spot. I think we're going to see a very close fight, but Royval is going to edge it out at the very end. I wouldn't be shocked to see a split. All right, wouldn't be shocking, but Brandon Royval is just more dangerous right now.
We haven't even shot off fireworks for July 4th, and this is Van's third fight. And not against chumps. I mean, that's Reyes Ura. It's Bruno Silva. And I mean, it basically both fights went the distance. I mean, it's a late third-round finish against Bruno Silva. So, yeah, it's a lot, but, he's younger. He can, I guess he can handle it. It's the name of his game. He fights all the time. What do you have, 4? In 2024, he's a very active fighter. I'm with you. Brandon Royval, you can't plan for him. It's almost like you have to have seen him before to get ready. He holds his hands way down, and he's like one fighter that can get away with it. For whatever reason, he can get out of the way of those shots, and then when he does, he's got these weird angles that he comes in from, and we've seen Josh Van kind of get off the slow starts. And Royval is this is 3 rounds of fury from Brandon Royval. This is 3 rounds. Brandon Royval doesn't have to save his energy for 5 rounds. The pace that Royval is going to put on from the very beginning is going to be there. Van, I thought his takedown defense against Cerrito was really, really good. Royval can mix in some of those and get some control time. But I'm with you. I think this is going to be a great experience for Van. Even if he loses, this is kind of a no-lose situation for him, because if he wins, now everyone's clamoring for a title shot. But if he loses, I hope it goes 3 rounds, because I think Royval can show him some things he's never seen before, and he'll come out on the other side a better fighter. But I'm with you. I think you said it best. It's a little bit too much too soon. Now, in UFC, you have to take those steps up. At some point you got to make the step up, and you sink or you swim. But, I think this is where Van's winning streak comes to an end here. I like Royval by decision. So, now we got the fun one. Beneil, Dariush, and Renato, Moicano. Listen, Jim, was I the only one that thought Moicano, we weren't going to see him for a while because of a shoulder injury? Didn't you say that?
We were talking about it, and so was he, and here he is again.
I mean, and it wasn't like a year ago. Yeah, he likes the money, but against Makhachev, he's like, my shoulder's hurt. I gotta, blah blah. And I think Bobby Green took some time off after trying to fight Makhachev, if I remember that correctly. It was like big payday, saved a fight. I figured out we're not going to see him the rest of this year. No, we're going to see him in June. Yeah, and now he goes up against Beneil Dariush, who. If he gets knocked out in the first round again, I mean, it's sayonara, Dariush. He's not going to be fighting very much longer. So this was this fight was canceled so Moicano could go fight Makhachev. Yes. I have no idea what to make of this fight. I will freely admit I will not have any plays. Nothing would surprise me. Dariush could get knocked out early. Moicano could hurt his shoulder. This could be a boring fight that goes the distance. It could be fight of the night. Nothing is off the table in this one. I don't see how you could have a strong opinion on this fight. Maybe I'm wrong, but where do you sit?
I have a feeling this is Beneil Dariush's retirement fight.
Okay.
Yeah, if he loses this fight, I could most certainly see him taking off the gloves. He's openly stated he doesn't want to do this forever. Moicano has said the same thing, but Moicano likes money, so he's going to keep fighting until they tell him they don't want him anymore. That's the bottom line, or he's got enough money. Dariush is a smart guy, man. I'm a big fan of him. I love his personality, how true to the sport of MMA he really is. But look, that doesn't always win you fights, and I can't get over how bad he's looked in his last two. And here's the thing. You talk about the chin. What about the cardio? I mean, he's looked tired in the first round of fights.
He was winning against Oliveira, and then all of a sudden he gassed. That's why
It's like
finished.
he hit a wall, right? He didn't hit a punch until he was tired. So, like, he hits this wall in round one. I don't like it. His reaction to shots hasn't been good. And look, Moicano's not fantastic either, but the one thing you can say about Moicano is he will fight through getting his head caved into the canvas. He doesn't care. He will get up and complain to the ref that they stopped it every time. It doesn't matter. So I just think there's a little bit more left in the tank with Moicano. Not getting the surgery is confusing, but I do believe it's very telling that the UFC rebooked this fight. Moicano wants money. He is going for the finish. I do think that if this is a loss, what is Beneil still here for? You're never getting a title shot. He has stated that if he wants the title or nothing. So this could be a very sneaky retirement fight. Pay-per-view card, main event, good payday. This could be the end of the road for Beneil Dariush. I'm going Moicano.
I said I wasn't betting anything, but minus 120 on under 2.5. You might be able to talk. You might be able to talk me into something like that because, yeah, if Dariush's cardio and chin is gone, it's not lasting very long. And if Moicano's hurt, he may not last very long. Or if his shoulder hurts and he is just taking this, quick tap. Yeah,
quick tap.
Exactly. So, all right, you're going with Moicano. I'm staying away, but after a little liquid courage, I could see me sprinkling the 2.5, but we don't do that around here, so. All right. Well, let's do one more fight. Let's finish out the main card here. Payton Talbott and Felipe Lima. Payton Talbott disappointed a lot of people. We were not very surprised by it. We said Barcel's going to give him a lot of trouble. Here's my issue with Payton Talbott. Well, I have a few of them. He goes on to Contender Series, but he's on Contender Series coming out of Uriah Faber's A1 Combat. It's pretty much known that you fade guys on Contender Series who are coming out of Uriah Faber's league, okay?
Yes, sir.
He was kind of a little bit of the exception. Like, all the hype, they really hyped him up. He fights this Reyes Cortez, doesn't get the finish. It's Uriah Faber's boy. He's got this unique look to him. He's really popular in certain areas. He's got the painted fingernails thing going on. He's a different cat. Like, he's different. So he needs 3 rounds to get the finish against Nick. Then he knocks out Cameron Simon. That is just not aging that well. Cameron Simon is not that good. And then Giannis Gamori, give me a break here. He gets a veteran, and the veteran dominated him. He was on a dating reality show. And my biggest problem with him is he doesn't have a backup plan. If he doesn't get that big kill shot, what are you gonna get from him? You're gonna get a big takedown in wrestling and grappling game? I don't see it against Felipe Lima. Lima's good everywhere. I wouldn't say Lima's great at any certain thing, but outside of the one big KO punch, what's Talbott's second best weapon? Like, what's his third? What happens if he gets caught on the chin randomly and now has to fight through adversity? I just don't see it. He didn't look focused. He didn't look ready in his last fight. And Felipe Lima, man, Felipe Lima's a dog. Like 14-1. He's very active in these fights. The finish against Muhammad Naimov, like, it was a really super competitive fight. Make no mistake, he didn't work an amazing takedown into a choke. Naimov slipped and fell off, and all of a sudden the neck was right there. But it was still a really solid win in your debut, a third round. And then goes the distance against Miles John, shows he can wrestle and grapple and get the win against this. I'm a big Lima fan, and Lima's the favorite. And I've heard, well, how can Payton Talbott go from a minus 1,000 favorite to now all of a sudden he's a dog? I think it's more appropriately priced this fight than the last one was. I got Lima. I got Lima by decision. If Payton Talbott doesn't catch him on the chin and knock him out, then I think Lima rolls to another victory, and Payton Talbott's got to figure out what's his next move if he doesn't get this KO, because he just hasn't. I haven't seen him get better. I mean, it was a massive, massive clunker against Barcelos. You could say he got worse. So it's Lima for me. I'll lay the juice. What do you think?
I need to know what's going on in Payton Talbott's head. I gotta see a presser. I gotta see an interview. I gotta check for training. I gotta see what's going on. If nothing has changed, I am backing up the dump truck behind you on this one. 100%. What I want to hear from Payton Talbott is, I screwed up. I wasn't ready. I wasn't focused. It got to my head. I'm refocused. I'm spending more time in my camp. I brought in new coaches. I have to hear these things. Before I can make the bet, I have to hear it. Because if that's what I do hear, I do believe that Lima is hittable. And with a guy like Talbott, if you are hittable, you can't get put out. Okay? If I hear none of this, Felipe Lima is much more well-rounded. Much more well-rounded. So I think the overall MMA game will beat the Payton Talbott that we just saw. Are we going to see that guy again? That's what I've been trying to figure out all week. So, private eye investigation right now. I have nothing leading me towards either way. We'll see what pops up between today and Saturday. If I hear anything about, everything status quo and he brushes it off, I'm all in on Lima.
Okay. I did a deep dive on a fighter that you'll never guess. You'll never guess what I just did, like an hour deep dive on him. It's actually humiliating when we get to that fight. So.
On this card. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, it's on this card.
I can't wait. Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, I did a deep dive just so I could. It started and then it just never stopped.
License plate number, his PO box.
I know a lot more about him than I should. It went from research to borderline stalking. So, but whatever. So, all right, guys, we have a UFC pack up and we have a 5% PFL play. The PFL video is up on this channel as well. It's go time here, guys. These are plays that we are betting with our own money, just the same as our clients. We're not tossing out random picks. We're as invested as you are. When we put out a play, our money is behind it, just as yours are. We're still the number one MMA leader at Wager Talk. It's not an accident. We've been the leader since the very first card in 2025. If you're serious about building your bankroll through smart, disciplined UFC and PFL betting, this is where you start. This has been a tough year. Anybody that's positive this year in MMA, like seriously, congratulations. So if you're up double digits, hats off to you. So we are up double digits, and we're looking to finish out strong. I had a goal of between 20 and 30 units at the end of the year. I think that's a pretty good one. I've liked our PFL history, so we're way ahead of pace for that one. But yeah, 5% PFL Best Bet is up. UFC pack is up. So we've navigated the waters last week after a rough week the week before. But yeah, trust us this week. I love our plays. Absolutely love our plays. All right, let's move on to Jack Hermansson and Gregory Rodrigues. Jack Hermansson's one of those guys that just like comes up and you're like, oh, Jack Hermansson's fighting again.
He's still around.
Like, it's leap year. It's still around. Yeah. I'm going to you first. Jack Hermansson and Gregory Rodrigues. Who do you like?
The big question is Jack going to do it again? Is he going to do it again? Is he going to take the power puncher with questionable cardio into deep water and pull out a decision? That's the question. It's the only question in this fight. Gregory Rodrigues goes into a main event situation. And watching the live show, why was I terrified? He comes strolling in.
He didn't get him out early.
Well, before we even got to the fight, he comes strolling in with a suit and a chain, and he's feeling himself. And I just, in my head, I go, oh, no. Here's why I went, oh, no. This isn't something normal for him. This was a, I'm feeling myself moment. I'm here. I've arrived. And then he got worked. Absolutely worked by Jared Cannonier, the 40-plus-year-old Jared Cannonier. So Rodrigues has paths to improvement on this. I don't know if Jack is as physically imposing of a person as Jared. but he's just as skilled, if not more, in the grappling area. So this fight completely comes down to Gregory Rodriguez's cardio and Jack's ability to stay safe in the first round. If this fight starts round 2, it's going the distance. It's that simple at that point. So I am going to bank, and this might bite me. I'll do it one more time. I'm going to take Gregory Rodriguez to make the improvements and beat Jack Hermansson. That's where I'm going to land.
I agree, and it's minus 218. I get it. So here's the thing. I correctly predicted that Pyfer was going to blow his wad early and then lose to Hermansson late, and that's exactly what happened. But that was a 5-round fight. Gregory Rodriguez only needs to make it 3 rounds. He almost he got so excited when he was hurting Cannonier in the first round, and then he just couldn't help himself and forgot that it's a 5-round fight. And look, when he got finished, it wasn't even in the third. It was at the beginning of the fourth. So he couldn't make it through, and he couldn't make it through 30 seconds of a championship round. So Rodriguez is probably going to win the first. He always seems to come out strong and win the first. And now you just need one more from him. And Hermansson is not the guy these days that's going to land the huge, big shot. He's not the guy that's going to get the flashy takedown. He's just going to kind of work you with volume, but he is 100% dependent on Rodriguez gassing, and this isn't the main event. This isn't a ton of adrenaline, and it's only 3 rounds. I'm with you that it's Gregory Rodriguez. I actually think Gregory Rodriguez is not going to go for the huge shots early unless one is just massively presented to him. So it would surprise me if this went all 3 rounds with the Rodriguez-like decision where this corner is like, you are not getting tired.
Joe
Joe Pyfer, yeah. This is the Carlos Olberg treatment at the very beginning of his career. I like Rodriguez too. I think his striking is going to be too much. He's going to have the more powerful shots. I think he's going to win the clinching situations up against the fence. So I've been burned. I was burned last time on Rodriguez. I thought he was going to beat Cannonier, and I could not have been more wrong. So I'll go back to him one more time. All right, low-key, this could be fight of the night. Hyder Amil and Jose Delgado. What say you on this fight?
Big fan of both these guys. This could be fight of the night. I agree 100%. If there's a fight on the undercard that is going to get fireworks, it's and bonuses, it's either this or the Terrance McKinney and Slava fight. I don't see it being Jacobe Smith and Niko Price. The undercard is surprisingly good on this pay-per-view. So love Hyder Amil, just an absolute animal. Will walk through anything. Super, super tough. Delgado, very well-rounded fighter. Mexican-American heritage. Chin on him. Absolute chin. Great, great, well-rounded. Both of these guys, okay? Does what he's supposed to do against Connor Matthews. Oh, can we get Connor Matthews another fight, please? One more fight from Connor Matthews.
Can I jump in on that? Somebody in our live show said something about, I would never want to see that guy fight ever again. And we're like, no, wrong attitude. You want to see this guy on every fight card.
Next
we
week.
need to make more money against guys like Tim Johnson. We need to make more money against guys like Connor Matthews. Don't forget how profitable the Sam Alvey days were, guys. Do not forget those guys. That we need those guys around for the easy payday. So if there's a guy that's terrible and keeps getting knocked out, you want him staying put. So
Jordan Wright, go Kongsaki. Keep these guys coming, man. Yeah.
Alan Dovsky, or what was that?
Alan Amidovsky. There's a good one. Yep.
Alan Amidovsky. We need these guys in our lives. So, all right, keep going. Amil and Delgado.
I need to know what Amil's health situation is, because last time he was in the cage, he gutted out a really, really close decision. And after the fight, he revealed that he had major knee problems going on. So did we get surgery? Did we not get surgery? You remember
this is what doesn't make any sense. This was in March. I
know. That's why I got to know. What was the injury? Okay. Is it a meniscus? Is it an ACL? Is it an MCL? Is it a PCL? What is it? I know there's a problem. Was it fixed? Are we going to see knee sleeves again? This is what we said about Jamal Hill last week, right? All these injuries pile up. Look, after 2 leg kicks, you saw Jamal say, man, I really would like to have my kneecaps intact for the rest of the fight. Too bad he didn't know how to check any of them. I'm wondering what we're going to see from Amil. If I see that he's healthy, I'll pick him to pull it. I think he can win. If he's not healthy, I'm all over Delgado. Because Delgado is not a guy that you get into the cage with at 80%. That is a bad career move.
Yeah.
Very bad career move. So, look, we think we know what to do, and we say this on the live show all the time and in here. Like, some of these coaches and some of these management teams, they need to be nowhere near the UFC. The way they handle their fighters, letting them go in hurt, letting them fight a third round when they're beat to hell, and there's no way that they're winning. Some of these guys just don't take care of their fighters. I don't know about Delgado's camp, but we're going to find out. So, again, wait and see. I will lean Amil if he's healthy. If not, it's all Delgado.
Yeah, I'm just going to roll the dice that if he's fighting this close to his last fight, he's healthy enough. And I love Amil's game plan. He's in your face. He will push you up against the fence. I thought that win against Gomes was so impressive because, against Jingon Lee, comes out, smokes him early. Against Fernie Garcia, smokes him in round 2. He showed real diversity. He showed clinch. He showed great cardio. And, here is one thing about Delgado. Finish. Look at that fight he lost. That was one that went to decision. Then before, finish. So he's had one fight, his pro career, that went the distance, and he lost it. I know it was earlier in his career, but I don't think that's nothing. I think he's and have fun finishing Hyder Amil. A lot of guys have tried, none of them have done it. So I have Amil as an underdog, a great underdog in this one. I like both guys. Both guys are going to hit really hard. I think Hyder Amil's going to win the clinch battle up against the fence. He's got that dog in him, man. If there's a guy on this card, I say he's got that dog in him. It's Hyder Amil. Love him as the underdog in this one. Viviane Araujo against Tracy Cortez. You and I may go head-to-head on this one. I'll let you go first. Who do you like in this fight?
This is probably one of my, I can't say my favorite because it's not our client play. I'll break that for everybody right now. One of my favorite bets on the card is Tracy Cortez. Vivi is from a bygone era in women's MMA. She just is. Love her.
Wow.
She's tough. Okay, but again, the first thing you say about Vivi is what? She's tough. It's the first thing you say. She's tough. Tough. She's always fun to watch. She's always going to fight for your money. That's great. Okay. So she beats Jennifer Maia, who decides not to grapple. Genius, Jennifer Maia. Beats Karine Silva. Again, unanimous, but it's a decision. Karine Silva really has no wrestling takedowns to mix up. Fights Natalie Silva in a stand-up battle and gets 30-27. Not even close. No shame in that. Loses on the feet to Amanda Ribas. Loses in the grappling to Amanda Ribas. Loses to Alexa Grasso by decision. Okay? I think that Tracy is reinvigorated, reinvented. She has a massive edge in the wrestling. I think the cardio could be on her side as well in the third. Vivi just stands so upright that the takedowns are going to be there. Now, what happens when a wrestler doesn't want a wrestler? You're in deep trouble. So let's pray to God that Tracy doesn't come out and say, I've been working on my boxing, and decide to strike with Araujo. If there is no threat of a takedown, you are betting Vivi live. The second you see Tracy has no interest in wrestling. Because if she doesn't, she's screwed. But I believe she's smart enough to know that she needs to use her strength, which is her wrestling. And I see her eking out a decision in this spot. Like I said, Viviane Araujo's tough. She's tough to submit on the ground. Tracy really not known as a finisher. I like Tracy Cortez by decision in this spot, and I think Vivi gets another L on her record.
I will go head-to-head with you. I think Vivi's still got something left in the tank. I thought that was a really good performance against Karine Silva. Like you said, Natalia Silva's going to 30-27 a lot of people over her career. So I don't put too much into that. And, yeah, you got to go back to 2022 and 2023. Grasso was a much, much different fighter in 2022. So I just liked her aggression. Karine Silva's a killer, man. I mean, she's got finishes galore on her record. She had a great win against Lipsky where she dominated. And so for Vivi to get the win there, I know what you're saying about the wrestling advantage. I think as big of as a wrestling advantage that Tracy has, I think Vivi has the power on the feet. Now, Cortez will throw volume, but it's nothing that really scares you. So I'm looking at this price here, and I'm just going, wow, I'm getting, plus 200, plus 205 on DraftKings on Vivi, who just beat Karine Silva, and I'm not sure what the line would be, Karine Silva against Tracy Cortez. I think that would be much closer. So I think Vivi wins a stand-up battle in one round. I think Cortez gets the wrestling going and wins another, and now you're down to a toss-up. So I'll take my chances on Vivi to get a very close decision win. By the way, if you're a split decision better, this could absolutely come down to a split decision. Like, how do you score that one? Vivi with a big shot, but Cortez with 3 minutes of control time. I could so see a split decision in this one. So, all right, that'll be fun. We'll go head to head. You like Tracy, I like Vivi. Do you see what the over is on this?
No,
one?
I didn't look yet.
Minus 720. Minus 720. Minus 720 over 2.5. So whoever you're betting, bet him. Well, here's the thing: whoever you're betting on in this fight, just bet him by decision. There's no reason to bet a money line. Bet him by decision to grab yourself a little bit of extra value. So, all right, Terrance McKinney.
What are we doing? Minus 700. Come on.
On the total.
What are we doing?
I mean, at this point, you're almost better taking the under at plus 500. It's the UFC, man.
It's wild. It's wild.
So, yeah. All right, Terrance McKinney, Slava Claus. You don't need to know much about MMA that you can put this fight not to go the distance in your parlays. I'll just set the seed. It's Terrance McKinney early, or it's Slava in round 2. McKinney comes out guns a-blazing. He gets to finish early, and if not, he's done. He has no cardio. I actually don't think physically he can get there. I think there's something with him that it's just physically not going to. He cannot have 15 minutes of cardio, just like his genetics or something. Because I don't think it's a will or determination problem. Because he comes out so fast. I just think his body won't let him have it. So he's going to go guns a-blazing. If he doesn't get the early finish, he's toast, and he accepts that. He's like, I'm going to win early or lose early. But judges, you can take your pee break because you will not be needed in this one. So I'm interested how you're not allowed to say just wait and live bet Borshchev, because we say that in every Terrance McKinney fight. You say bet McKinney and then live bet the other guy. Here's the problem. The books are kind of onto it now. Mm-hmm. They're not giving you the great live lines that they used to give you. So
the line on Demir went down. As like he was losing the fight.
That's
and
right.
And the line on Demir went down. You're like, do we just have to bet Terrance if they're just going to keep it this way? Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Demir's got his head punched in, and he's becoming the favorite. That's right.
That was really happening. Mm-hmm. So
maybe they correct that this time. We'll see.
That was wild. What do you think?
Slava is in deep trouble in this first round. Like, ridiculously deep. The under 1.5 is minus 238, and I think it has value. So, in this fight, we were just talking about totals and how you guys know we hate 1.5s, but I think there's a lot of value in the under 1.5. Here's the thing with Slava. McKinney, he throws things in bunches, man. In the first round. He just does. And Slava doesn't move his head very well. He ducks down. He relies on that Dutch kickboxing style. What I always like to compare Slava to is Martin Kampmann. If you actually put them right next to each other for you old school UFC heads, my God, do they strike the same? They look the same. They bounce the same. They move the same. He's very comparable to Martin Kampmann. And as great of a striker as Martin Kampmann was, he never moved his head. Just ask Johnny Hendricks. Johnny Hendricks threw a right hand from 8 feet away. Martin didn't move his head, and he ended up on a highlight reel. Slava kind of does the same thing. He just stays right there. I think he's going to be there to be had. The other thing is that McKinney's grappling is really good. Really good. I wouldn't be shocked to see him run across this cage, pick up Slava, slam him down, and next thing you know, he's in mount or on his back in 10, 15 seconds. And I just think that's going to be a little bit too much for Slava to get through. Of course, if he doesn't finish him, he's dead. And Slava's going to get up and punish him to the body and make McKinney want to quit. It's a pretty simple breakdown. But I don't see Slava surviving it. I really don't. The Chase Hooper, getting dropped by Chase Hooper, no good, man. Even 40-plus-year-old Jim Miller didn't get dropped by Chase Hooper. It ended up being a grappling match. Slava's chin just has some major questions. Major questions. So I can't believe I'm saying this. I lean McKinney. I like McKinney. Love the under 1.5 still. Love the under 1.5. That's where I'll go on this one. What you say?
I say I'll take Slava at plus 142.
Head to head, okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So yeah, Borshchev. Yes. Can he get taken down? Yeah. But can he get back up? Yes. He can scramble. And I only need him to scramble a couple times to tire out McKinney. I don't need him to stuff 8 takedowns. There's no way that McKinney will be able to land 3. He's going to be too tired. So I just need him to survive early. And yeah, McKinney's going to come flying across the ring and try and strike. But Borshchev is allowed to punch back, mind you. Like those are in the rules. And I don't think he's going to have to survive that long. I think it's half a round before McKinney starts to slow down. And Slava's got good footwork. 8-5 is not a very good record, but neither is 16-7. So you're going to give me plus money against Terrance McKinney where he has one condition, and that's to win in the first 3 minutes. So I get the next 13 minutes on a guy at plus money, and McKinney gets the first 3 minutes. I don't know. The plus money on Borshchev has my attention big time. I'll take a little sprinkle on Borshchev because I don't think you're going to get good lines. We watched it in the last fight. They were just like, no, they're not going to give you the gift of that. So, I mean, we'll talk about not giving you a gift. We got a fighter that's minus 2,000 on a UFC card. So, yeah, Slav will be the pick for me. All right, Niko Price and Jacobe Smith. I'm not like, when I say like, what are we doing here? I'm not saying that the minus 2,100 line is ridiculous. I'm saying what is UFC doing booking a fight where a minus 2,100 line is required? This is Cage Warrior shit. This is,
yeah.
We didn't even have one remotely close to this in BKFC. Mm-hmm.
We had one last week in PFL. Hindsight being what it was. But it moved to closing. Rabadanov did look like he was minus 2,000 against Kevin Lee.
Yeah, and Wellmaker, same exact thing.
Yeah. Those are your... why are we doing this, though, at the top of the top? I agree with you 100%. That's
the point, is like why are fights like this happening? Why are you giving Niko Price, who's getting dominated by Themba Gorimbo? Why are you putting him in there against Jacobe Smith? It's Jacobe Smith by knockout, and I don't need any more breakdown. What say you?
There's value on the Jacobe
There's
Smith
value on the under.
Jacobe Smith's gonna kill Niko Price. Again, this could be another quasi-retirement release fight. How long do you keep Niko around? How much longer do you let him go through this?
Enough to give a guy from Contender Series a big flash KO, like highlight reel. That's
like, this is pretty much the last
what
one.
This is.
Like, yeah, it's got. I don't know how much longer you can do this. Really like what we saw from Smith. Just does what he's supposed to do. Good job mixing it up. Can wrestle as well. Just Niko, apart from taking a dive against Robbie Lawler in Robbie's retirement fight.
Never forgive him for that.
No, it was one of the most suspect knockouts you'll ever see. And good for Robbie, but, man, to pop up and be that happy after being unconscious was a little perplexing. No questions about where he was, just got up. You got me, Robbie. Congratulations. Yep. Great career. Jacobe Smith by knockout's the play. That's pretty simple. What do you think about the
All
time?
right.
You think this can go to 2, or is this a 1-round fight?
I mean, the under 1.5 is minus 250. Jacobe Smith just hits too hard, and Niko Price is just so at the end of his career that I think one strong punch, he's going to be like, okay, I've had enough. I'm out of here. I would almost be interested in fight doesn't start round 2, but that's probably getting a little bit too cute. So, all right, we move on to Jhonata Denise against Alvin Hines. Once again, guys, we have our UFC pack that is up. We have our 5% PFL pack that is up. It's over at wagertalk.com. Just go to wt.buzz/AL for the shortcut here. So really, really proud of the work that we've done at UFC. We've weathered a lot of really bad cards. We've had one really, really bad week, and we rebound with a 3-2 week last week. So join us. These are plays that we bet with our own money. Encourage everyone to grab those and jump on board. We still remain number 1 at Wager Talk in units gained. All right, I mentioned that I did a deep dive on somebody. I did a deep dive on Mr. Alvin Hines. I needed to know more about this man. You know what it says okay, you know what the top of his Instagram says? Engineer by day, fighter by night.
Yes.
Okay, so it turned so what here's the first thing that I noticed about Hines where I had to figure out like what's going on with this guy. So he had an amateur fight in 2011. He was like, I'm good for 11 years. And then I'm going to get back into the game. So apparently he became an engineer in this time. He was like, I can't be a full-time fighter. I better have a decent job. Well, he lands a decent job, works his way up, and becomes a pro in his 30s. And it's all regional stuff. He fights up in LFA, and he gets a bunch of finishes. So I found some interviews with him, and in one of his interviews, the union that he works for sponsors him. The union gives him money to sponsor his fights. Like, he turns around and he's like, I got so many local sponsors, and the union logo is the biggest one. So this guy is a union.
I'm listening. I'm just placing a bet right now.
Okay, so this guy's a union engineer, and they pack the local places, and he sells a bunch of tickets. All right, so he's like one of these like cult heroes. Like there's a couple interviews where the people interviewing are nerding out like they're interviewing Michael Jordan. It's one of the strangest things. But whatever. So he gets this high kick against Billy Ray Valdez. Billy Ray Valdez is awful. The high kick was almost more like a push. It like came up and it hit his head and it just
pushed him over.
Kind of pushed him over, and Valdez was exhausted and was like, that was it. He's very low volume. He winds up and throws big. And now I want to go to Denise because I also want to tell you some things he keeps saying. He keeps saying the same thing over and over in the interviews. So Denise has looked awful on the ground. He does not have takedown defense. Topuria murdered him on the ground. Austin Lane, on paper, it's a knockout win because Austin Lane got tired. In the first round, Austin Lane was on top of him the entire round. He took him down and laid on top of him. Carl Williams had the easiest path to victory of any fighter ever, and Carl Williams decided, I'm going to try and punch, and blew it, and now he's losing fights in PFL. It still goes down as one of the dumbest decisions of fight IQ. We can talk about Alexandre last week, but Carl Williams is the biggest culprit of dumb. In his interviews, Hines keeps saying, I've got a game plan. I'm going to take him into deep waters. Hines has taken this on pretty short notice. I think he knows 3 rounds on the feet ain't going to happen, especially against knees. I think he's going to work the wrestling and the clinch and the takedowns. You know what I love about this fight, Jim? I love that I can get minus 110 on the over 1.5.
Over.
These are two big brawling guys. Mm-hmm. And if Hines gets a clinch and a takedown, that's where that round is going to end. He's big. He's just going to lay on top of Denise.
He is big.
Now,
yeah.
He's huge. Now, on the feet, Denise has the volume advantage, but, I mean, Denise, is he a huge KO guy? He couldn't knock out Carl Williams. He knocked out Austin Lane because Austin Lane passed out from complete exhaustion. And now you're back to him like knocking out guys on Contender Series and Immortal FC 12. Sorry, I didn't pull the graphic up. Yeah, so like couldn't knock out Topuria, couldn't knock out Carl Williams. He wobbled Carl Williams in the third, and then Carl Williams was like, I better wrestle. And took him down immediately. Yeah. Like, so I think this fight may go the distance. I think there's going to be big moments of wrestling and clinch work from Hines. And I do think he believes that he's going to wrestle and get Denise on the ground. And that's how he saves his cardio, is just laying on top of Denise. And when you watch Denise's lack of takedown defense, it ain't going to be that hard. It doesn't need to be the most sophisticated shot in the world to get him down. On the feet, like I said, Denise is decent striker, but Hines is 7-0. He's tough. He can eat a shot. He can throw one back. And honestly, after the first round, I don't know who's got the cardio to finish. I love this over 1.5 at -110. I think people are expecting violence, and Hines keeps hinting to this. I'm going to take him into deep waters, and yeah, we've got a clear path to victory. And to me, it's wrestling and clinch. So I wouldn't mind a sprinkle on Hines by decision. If this goes to decision, I think it's very, very messy. I think Denise I think he sucks, man. I think he's really bad. I think he's due to lose a lot of UFC fights in a row. He just happened to get this guy from LFA. That's my take on this fight. Did I stun you with this breakdown?
You did. You did, actually. You put a lot of time in. I'm going to have to call and check on you at 2 in the morning. Make sure you're not up watching Denise fights.
I'm
Andy,
on my
go to bed.
58th
Go to
Instagram reel. Yeah.
We've confirmed that he can't stop a takedown, Andy. Go to bed. So you know how you go to like somebody's pool and they're like, hey, just be careful. There's a deep end. But that deep end's only like 4.5 feet. It's a tiny deep end. See, that's the thing. I believe it, that he is going to get the wrestling going. He's going to take him down. But Denise's deep end is only 4.5 feet. 4 minutes of being underneath a heavyweight is about all Denise has. He lacks the ability to control somebody's posture to stop the damage from coming, and that was extremely evident against Topuria. Now, I know Topuria's good, but he made Topuria look like prime Tito Ortiz with ground and pound from guard. I mean, it was just it's inexcusable in 2025 to not know how to control a neck or an arm or get an overhook or an underhook and keep yourself safe. And that's the fundamentals that Denise does not have. That being said, his opponent is not good on the feet, and he does swing wild, and he's going to leave big opportunities to be countered by Denise. So if that wrestling does not happen, he's in deep, deep trouble on the feet as well, because say what you will about Denise, he hits hard, and he hits you clean when he puts you out. It's good technique for a heavyweight. It's very good technique. This isn't Robelis de Spain, where it's just winging from 12 feet away and a spinning hook kick that's got no chance to land. So either world that this ends up in, the other guy is screwed. Just screwed, in my opinion. So I'm with you on the side that Denise is really bad, and I would, if I'm playing one, I'm taking the dog. But I like the under 1.5. So we're at total opposites in this spot. I just think both guys are so bad in the other one's prime area that this could end really quickly. If Denise ends up on his back and he's in mount and he's dropping elbows, he's not making it 4 minutes. He's just not. So, again, that deep water is really the shallow end of your public pool for Denise. I think he can drag him in there.
All right, let's do the last fight, which I know very little about, and I wouldn't recommend betting money on this. Jackson McVeigh and Christopher Ewart. McVeigh's a pretty good finisher. He's really big. I watched some of this Ewart. Not that impressive, but I for purposes of the video, I'll take Jackson McVeigh at plus 130 just because he's. You look at his record and he's violent, man. He's a violent guy, not been out of round one. So he finishes early, and if I'm getting plus money on a couple of unknowns and I get a guy who, Yeah, I mean, both these guys finished early. It was nice to see you were show 3 rounds of cardio. So no money will be made on that one, but for fun, I'll take a sprinkle on Jackson McVeigh for the purposes of this video. You know anything about these guys?
I know a little about them, but first thing I'm going to say is kudos to the UFC. These are the type of first fights that we want, we need.
Yes.
Give me a 6-0 regional guy against a 7-0 regional guy who finish fights. Trot them out there. It's like they put a contract in the center of the ring and say, who wants to be in the UFC? This is how I want the beginning of cards to happen. Like, props for you. Enough with the women's fights that are minus 700 to go the distance opening the card. Or, some, like you said, just garbage setup and no sense fight. This fight makes sense. These guys are both finishers. This is how you get a crowd excited. I mean, we've seen lately some crowds have been dead at these events. So I think these guys are going to come out and swing heavy until somebody falls down. That's the long and short of it. I don't see a whole great amount of skill. I do know some sharp people, shout out our Discord, that really like McVeigh. So they've followed him for a long time. So I'll go with them. I'll say McVeigh, but give me violence in this fight, man. Guys that are finishers, both undefeated, someone's real and someone's a pretender. We're going to find out who.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's do the Parlay Buster and the Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. Parlay Buster is very simple. A play that we think everyone's going to be putting in their parlays, and we're here to say be careful on that one. Kind of tough. There's the Parlay Buster, because there's a lot of lines that are really close. So was there one that you're leaning at? It's got to be someone that everyone's going to put in their parlays.
I had a hard time. I really did finding somebody. It's like I don't see Tracy Cortez getting parlayed. I think she wins. I think you're going to see a lot of money coming in on Borshchev. Like right now, McKinney's the favorite. Is anybody parlaying Terrance McKinney? So I had to go back to almost like in theory, right? Like, what does somebody do? What is somebody who's sometimes unserious and looking to have fun? They parlay the first 3 fights of the night, the first 2 fights of the night. So where I landed was Denise at minus 325.
I agree. It's a dangerous number.
Right? It's a dangerous number. The spot on the card is dangerous. I know. I'll parlay Denise with somebody else. Before you even get to the bets you like, you're down 2 units, 3 units, whatever. So I think that's just a very public situation where that's going to be the parlay.
Yeah, I agree with that one. That Denise is the first one, and it's when you take a big guy who has no takedown defense and put in your parlays, that is terrifying. When he goes down like a sack of potatoes in the first round, you're like, oh God, I need him to get a finish, or I need him to win the next 2 rounds. So, I'll go with old gas bag himself and Gregory Rodrigues. We've seen him do it multiple times. We've seen Jack, pull it off against Piper. So it's only 3 rounds, but yeah, I could totally see Gregory getting a huge first round. Can't quite get the finish, and all of a sudden there he is toppling over in the third with Jack getting his hand raised again, and then Jack disappears and we don't see him till 2027. So,
Winter solstice.
Yeah, right.
Amazing, he fights every time there's a blood moon.
Well, his nickname should be Leap Year. Jack Leap Year, Manson. All right, woulda, coulda, shoulda. This is a fight or some bet that we're like, oh my God, could have made a killing off of this one. Why didn't we make more off of that one? What do you got?
Renato Moicano by finish over Beneil Dariush.
This is a great call.
When he gets beat again in the first round, he gasses out, gets hit with 1 shot, whatever it may be, and takes those gloves off and puts them down in the cage. I go, why didn't we bet Moicano? Rebooked fight. No different opponents. Moicano goes and saves the UFC. They give him Beneil again. I think that tells you a story, man. You guys all know how much suckers I am for the tea leaves and the behind-the-scenes stuff. This just seems like a real work by the UFC to make sure this fight can happen. So give me Moicano by finish, and Beneil retires.
I'm going to go Pantoja by sub at plus 225. Can't you just see him wrapping his arms around the neck of Kai Kara France, and we're all sitting there going, it was always Pantoja by sub. What were we thinking? The guy's 1-2 in his last 3 fights. Of course, Pantoja was gonna submit this guy. So I'll go Pantoja, making mincemeat of Kai Kara France and getting his patented submission. So, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for us. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Really helps us out. Plus, you get notified when all these videos go up, including our live shows. So, appreciate everyone. Go grab that UFC pack and the 5% PFL. Let's have a big week of UFC and PFL. Good luck on your bets and take care.
Good luck, guys.